TG Geeks, episode 198, December 3rd, 2018. Major extreme diversity in comedy. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane. We're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona. Well, we're actually not in Phoenix.
We're in Orlando.
We're in Orlando when this airs, but we're in Phoenix right now. So,
right.
Arizona. And the Phoenix is in Arizona.
Yeah.
Orlando's in Florida.
Correct.
Across the country.
But there's
at Disney World even.
Yeah, but there's also a Baghdad in Florida.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a Baghdad in Arizona, too.
There's also a Miami, not in Florida.
Yeah.
In any case.
Anyway.
And I'm Ben Raggington, also coming to you from, but did you know that in a previous life, I was an informant for the CIA? But now I'm simply a podcaster here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah. Whatever that was all about.
Something to do with the interview.
Yeah. We're going to jump right in.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in this episode, we've got an interview with the El Salomons. They're a lesbian couple that does a stand-up comedy routine and
duo
from very diverse backgrounds.
Oh boy, we'll let them explain it to you.
Explain it to you. Absolutely. Got our birthday shout-outs. We got our featured podcast of the week. We actually have some feedback. We've been kind of sprinkling the feedback into these episodes that we're pre-recording since we had a lot of feedback.
Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of. So it's almost like feedback-a-palooza, but not quite.
And in this second segment, we'll talk about some upcoming things and we'll just, anything else that we might think we want to talk about, if we can think at that point. Don't have a weekly recap because we don't have it all scheduled. We get everything loaded.
At the time of this recording, we don't know where everything is going to go on the website.
And then we have a follow-up item. So we're going to jump right into the interview right now. And we have kind of a treat for you this time on our show. We've got a duo that is two comedians, I suppose, stand-up comedians, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves because they have kind of a little gimmick of the way they introduce themselves. So here we are with...
Hi, I'm Jess Solomon. Hi, and I'm Iman Husseini. And together we are the El Solomons.
Well, welcome, Jess and Imani. So how is things today in the city? I assume you're in the city.
Where are you? Yeah, are you in L.A.?
Yeah. No, you're in New York City, aren't you?
Oh, New York City?
Excuse me. We're in Brooklyn. It is beautiful, climate change, full effect. Yeah, summer-ish weather for this time of year.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Cool. So, as I said, you're two stand-up comedians, and you've kind of had separate careers from what I understood, but then you've kind of come together as well. So why don't you tell us about who you are and how you kind of got into the comedian thing, and how did you come together, and how does that working? So I know that's a lot of questions, but we'll probably interrupt you a number of times. So
no problem.
So this is Iman. I started stand-up about 12 years ago, and I really wanted to be in the entertainment industry, and I can't act or sing, and I thought comedy was a more attainable.
You're not bad at dancing.
I'm not bad at dancing. I'm a good chair dancer. My upper body a lot better than the bottom.
Yeah, the shoulders and the neck are pretty good.
Yeah. I started doing stand-up, and then 2.5 years later, I heard that this international war crimes lawyer has given up her career to try stand-up comedy, and I thought, who is this crazy person?
Whoa!
You know what? Some people call it brave.
Back the truck up. International war crimes lawyer?
That's correct.
Oh my God!
Just the kind of career changer your families get so excited about.
This is the second time we've spoken to somebody who is. I mean, we're not just talking a slight career shift. I mean, this is like jettisoning and making a complete abrupt U-turn. I mean, a few weeks ago, it was Susan Surftone who decided to give up being an FBI agent and go into a career in music. Really awesome music, by the way. And now you. It's like, wow. I mean, it's really awesome that you felt secure enough to make that kind of a career change. But holy cow, what prompted that?
I did make a sharp U-turn right into a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Hey, I like that. I got to remember that one.
I think that I was sort of like in a place where I didn't love what I was doing. I didn't love law, even though it was like of law, it was a cool area in that I was working for the UN and people, I was working with people that came from all over the world.
That's heavy.
Law that was connected to politics and history and all of that. But at the end of the day, I didn't love working with the law. And I don't know, honestly, in my mind, I guess, I don't know if I was young enough, but I just thought, well, I'll just take 2 years off of law and I'll just try comedy. And like someone that didn't know anything really about comedy, I thought, well, if I don't make it in 2 years, if I don't have an HBO special, I'll know it's not for me, and I'll just go back to law. No big deal.
That's the most hilarious part. She thought it was going to take her 2 years to get an HBO special. Imagine.
That is comedy. Yes.
Almost. It's been 9.5 years.
Yeah.
I've written way too much online. No, proper law, institution, government, Justice Department, no law firm would ever have me. And now I am, still waiting on the HBO special. But I at least I met my lovely wife by turning to comedy. So that's one concrete thing that came out of it.
That's right. So doing stand-up is really a solo career. I think that appealed to me very much, to not have a boss or be my own boss and just
you have the creative
the creative outlet and do whatever I wanted. There's no rules. There's no censorship.
And mine's not good with authority. Yeah, I'm
apparently.
not very good with authority.
So that brings us to getting married, and then everybody around us just really likes our banter online, or our status updates about each other, or our interactions with the world. And really, we were pressed by people to work together. It's not something that we wanted to do, and here we are.
Because we started co-headlining comedy clubs because they get. They know that we're together, so it's just one hotel room. So it's a very good budget scenario.
Exactly.
So a lot of clubs are like, oh, we can have both of them, one hotel room, great. So we were co-headlining comedy clubs, and we would just do our act back to back, but not at the same time. And people, everybody was like, well, aren't you going to be on stage together? We want to see the interactions. They'd see both like mirror images almost of some jokes. And so we started to develop an act where we tried to translate our romantic chemistry to comedic chemistry, and
that was so hard.
Yeah, I was going to think that's got to be there's got to be a difficult thing to do. I mean, I've seen some really very successful, comedy teams. I think of the late Harry Anderson and his wife when they used to do magic comedy, but he was always the talker and she was just kind of there. But to be on stage and to be able to literally volley things back and forth, that's not something you see very often. In fact, I don't think I've really seen it successfully. Well, I take that back. Just once have I ever seen that successfully done, but the rest of the time, no, you don't. So how much time did it take to develop that kind of a routine? And now that you're kind of like on that road, what has been the audience reception?
So at the beginning, it was extremely difficult. It is it's very, a sensitive thing to work with your partner that you're in love with rather than just like a friend. So at the beginning, I mean, it was like lots of fight and lots of arguing, barely any smiling or laughing at each other. I would compare, because Jess works a lot with other comedians that she's friends with. And I just noticed the difference in her demeanor or how she talks to other people and how she has a smile on her face when she's like interacting with her friends that she works with, which we don't have that. It's a lot more critical and
there's a lot more tension.
A lot more tension.
My friend Deanne Smith, who I have a live show with and I've also like written a script with, Iman caught us working together.
Just laughing and laughing from the kitchen. I'm like, what is going on?
No, it could be like that.
So at the beginning, it was really painful, actually, especially our first show. So we were in Just for Laughs this past summer. Actually, Jess was in Just for Laughs this past summer, and Just for Laughs knew that I was going to be there with her. So they offered us 2 shows to perform together. And the first one I thought was a complete nightmare. We were like in a big fight. We felt like it was not good.
We had done little bits of being a duo where we kind of did our own stand-up. And then in the middle, when, let's say, Iman introduced me or I introduced her, that the other one would stay on stage for a little while. I think we did it in L.A.
In L.A., exactly.
And even though we didn't think it was the best part, it was like, I think for the audience, the best part, because even if it's not perfect, it's still so entertaining and different for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then in Montreal last summer, Just for Laughs, we really got a lot of press, and the shows sold out, the first 2, and then we got a third one added, and the response of everybody was really positive, even though
we were like in a complete fight. We were so upset with each other, but then everybody's feedback was so positive. Like even a good friend of ours who knows us very well was just like, that is the best. That was such a fun interaction with you two. We were like shocked at how much people liked it, because in the moment we were just like, oh my God, this is never going to work. So of course, doing it over and over really helps us get a lot more and not as.
And now we do the full show together, so we don't leave one of us the stage and the other one do some solo stand up, and vice versa. We do the whole hour together, and we've now done it, and we did it in Brooklyn recently, and we went up actually to the Arctic
in Canada,
a place called Iqaluit in Nunavut, and we performed there, which was really fun. And
that was our best time, and it was the longest that we were on stage together.
It was our best time. I don't know if it's because they're so desperate up there for entertainment.
You never know.
We're really
So that is really fascinating.
It also sounds wildly therapeutic, too.
Well, it kind of, we've been doing this podcast for 4 years now. And at the very beginning,
approaching 5.
Yeah, I was the quiet one, and he was the talkative one. And now I think I talk more than you do.
You talk more than I do.
And, and occasionally we bicker, and and just stupid stuff that we say together. It's actually helped our relationship. It's amazing what this podcast has done for our relationship. I mean, we've been together for 22 years, so
the newer part of your journey together.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of rejuvenated some of the craziness that we had at the beginning of our relationship. Some of the fun stuff,
the loony
crazy stuff. So I understand working with your spouse. At first it was like, holy crap, it's like pulling hen's teeth to try to get these podcasts produced. And now it's, we just roll along with it, and I say stupid stuff. And
Yeah, and I
responds.
also think there's something kind of really cool that as a couple, you're actually able to create something together that the both of you can claim, as opposed to one just being supportive of the other and vice versa.
Yeah, it's almost like a hobby that's taken on a life of its own and become a career.
Almost. Except we don't get paid.
If you guys ever want to really like have a great live show, I recommend going up to the North Pole and very good audiences up there.
Yeah. So, where is it? You said that you have an HBO special, and I noticed that you're both on Sirius. Is that correct?
No, I don't have an HBO special. That was my
because I thought I didn't see that in there. I saw that you were.
Yeah, I definitely don't have an HBO special. We both, my comedy plays on Sirius in the U.S. and also in Canada. But I just recorded an album with 800 Pound Gorilla, and that we're going to release in January, February of 2019, and hopefully that'll, that's like a full album. So I'm hoping that'll, rather than a few tracks, I'll have more stuff playing on Sirius in the U.S.
Cool. So,
and my album is already out there. I recorded an album 3 years ago called Unveiled. You could find it everywhere, iTunes, Spotify, and it plays regularly on Sirius XM, Canada and the U.S., right? I don't know.
Cool.
But it's out there. It's on Spotify.
So,
it's on Spotify.
go ahead.
And you've also started, somebody's doing some cartoons for you, and you're coming up with the dialogue. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the cartoon, we're coming up on 1 year. November 21st is our 1 year anniversary of putting out a cartoon illustration every Tuesday on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and the handle is @the_L_Solomon, which is basically our two last names, El Husseini and Solomon, and it was what we came up with when we got married, as couples do for their wedding website, for their email. And our very good family friend, who is an immensely talented illustrator and graphic designer, Jesse Brown, he lives in London. We'd always chatted with him about doing something. He drew us for our wedding invitation, illustrated us, and just between watching our back and forth online, I had the idea of starting with this kind of weekly cartoon illustration, and then hopefully building an audience through that for our live shows, and to eventually have a animated sitcom. Basically, is the dream. And the HBO special.
Oh, cool. So since you're coming up on the anniversary of this cartoon, we should say happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
Yay! You're the first people to sing that to us.
And probably the only people who will ever do that.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Everybody online that I'm friends with, I send the Flintstones happy anniversary. That's where that's from. I remember that live.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm old.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard it before.
Yeah.
So I want to ask about when you're crafting your show. I'm assuming that it's I don't use the word scripted, but you have an idea as to where the topics are going to go. It's not necessarily it's not improvisational, correct?
No, that's correct, yeah. Unless we're interacting with the audience or something happens, then that's that improv part, but that's not
There's a segment of the show that is improvised, which is when we set up a couple in the audience. So we pick people, and we don't really ever know how that part is going to go in our conversations with them. But the idea of that is that we set up ideally a single Jewish person and a single Muslim person, but we'll take any combination of interfaith, interracial,
anything that would disappoint your parents.
That's great.
sounds awesome.
That's that part of it where we have a special table and we serve them some drinks and we try to make it romantic for them. And sometimes it's on the stage with us. Sometimes it's like depending on the venue, in a place like separate from the audience near the front. And we interact with them and we try to see how compatible they are and we give them a prize to send them on a date. And so there's hopefully we're
so it's usually
a
like
bit of love.
the prize is a tote bag. So they only get one that they have to share, obviously, and a gift certificate to a movie theater, which is again only one. So they have to, share it.
Well,
The money's on one card. Yeah.
This is cool. I mean, not only have you crafted something that's very therapeutical, but you're also helping to build world peace. So I think that's an awesome thing, all in the sake of laughter.
World peace.
Listen, we're waiting for the Nobel Prize Committee to call us.
Nobel Prize in World Peace Comedy or Comedic World Peace. Oh, God, Comedic World Peace? I don't know. I got to think about that one.
Interesting.
So when you're working on when you're working on, I hate to use the word scripted because that just sounds so stiff. But when you're working on the part of the routine that is more fixed, how do you craft that? And I look at like other comedians, of course, when I talk about other comedians, I'm talking about like Chris Rock, people like that, who they start at the lower clubs and they start crafting their routine, and then they finally have it completely honed, and they go out and they have their HBO special, and then they throw it all away and start all over again. Is that something that the two of you are doing with this kind of routine, or is it still? Are you still building upon it at this time?
I think we're still building. We're getting a better skeleton, I think. We know where we want to go. We want to talk about how we met, and then how we got married, and how our parents reacted to it, and how if they want to have
kids,
children, exactly, religion,
fights we've had.
That's everybody's favorite part.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because what's not funnier than a fight between couples?
Exactly.
I find, obviously performing for an audience and making them laugh is like the number one goal, but I didn't anticipate how satisfying it would be to say something that Iman had done that she didn't think was a big deal, and to have the audience overwhelmingly react like, ooh, she did, like, agree with me in unison, like, in the moment, live like that. And it was one of the best things that's ever happened to me on stage.
So
just like 200 people unanimously agree with you.
Yeah.
About an
Oops.
argument that we had.
Okay, this is what it is. You guys will be shocked too. I was driving. She was in the passenger seat.
If you call that driving.
She reached across and she honked the horn.
Oh, dear God.
And it was not an emergency in any respect.
It was an emergency. You kept letting people cut us off, and we weren't going to get where we had to go.
See what I'm doing?
I just tell Keith, lean on the horn. I don't reach over. I'll let him do that, but I'll keep saying, just lean on the horn.
He knows he'd be out the door if he reached over.
One thing is to say it, that's like one level of like, okay, we all know there's backseat drivers, whatever, but you don't like put your hand on the other person's wheel, right? Anyway, it was very sad. They agree with me.
That's breaking through my comfort zone.
That's great. So you said that you have some shows coming up. Is that correct? You have...
Yeah, we are going to be at the Vermont Comedy Club in Burlington, December 21st and 22nd.
Cool.
Yeah, 21st and a Friday and a Saturday. So, we're Jewish and Muslim, and we welcome any denomination or non-denominational people to come. But especially, it's if you're not busy with your family celebrating Christmas, this is a perfect opportunity to come.
Or if you want to sneak away from your family.
Or you want to sneak away, or you want to come and get set up with somebody.
Right.
Yeah, we do that too. So that will be at Burlington, the Vermont Comedy Club.
Isn't Vermont the lesbian capital of the U.S.?
What?
Is that?
We also are very happy to set up lesbian couples. We set up in the Arctic. Actually, we tried to set up. We had two gay guys. Yeah.
It was our first two gay guys.
We have had a lesbian
couple. We've had two gay guys, but the rest has been Muslim and Jewish. Yeah.
I have never. I've never heard of Vermont being the lesbian capital of the world.
Well, of the U.S.
The U.S. I've never heard that before. That's a new one.
Anyway.
No, but as you were talking about where you're going to be performing, something just kind of came. Have you, being that this is a Jewish-Muslim combination, has there ever been a place where you've performed that was so outside your quote-unquote comfort zone? I mean, that it was like you were in a demographic that almost made it uncomfortable.
I don't think so. I think whenever we performed together, it was always billed as, a gay show, warning people who wouldn't enjoy that from coming.
Well, let's say we haven't also traveled to places where we feel like it would be difficult to draw an audience, like, some of the places on the American map that are in the red zones, I guess.
You haven't been through the Bible Belt then, so
Nothing south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we've been to and not as a duo, but we have, of course, performed and talked about our marriage and stuff individually as comics in, the blue cities and the red states, like the Austins and the Asheville's and that kind of stuff. But we haven't ventured too far out yet.
You haven't been to Alabama or Mississippi
We moved here from Canada and just before the last election, and we had big plans to maybe travel more broadly than we have, and I guess got a little bit nervous. So we sort of stuck to places where we think, in general sense, we would have an audience who was interested in what we do.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And are you? Do you have any consideration for coming out to L.A. anytime soon, or?
Yeah, because there are lots of places on the West Coast where I think you guys would be huge.
So yes, I think. Thank you. Well, we do have dates at San Francisco Sketch Fest, the weekend of January 26th. So we'll be performing together. Just if you want to check out the San Francisco Sketchfest website, I think they're only announcing the lineup in the next 2 weeks, but that's end of January, San Francisco Sketchfest, the weekend of January 26th. We have a few dates. We're going to be doing a 45-minute length show.
Ooh, wow.
And with another, it'll be like a double bill with another comedy group. And LA, we don't have a date yet, but we will likely do something. We're looking to maybe do a couple things on the West Coast around the San Francisco dates once we go out there, but nothing that's the only dates we have for sure in the calendar are the Vermont Comedy Club in Burlington, December 21st, 22nd, and then San Francisco Sketch Fest the weekend of January 26th.
Cool.
Totally cool.
If you come out to L.A., we'll certainly...
Yeah, if you ever make... Yeah, we make
If
the
it's
drive
on
out.
a weekend, we can probably drive over, so...
Yeah.
We drive over to Southern California a lot.
Yeah, it's only about 5 or 6 hours from where we live, by car, so we would happily go there.
We have Disneyland annual passes, so we make it a lot.
Brag.
Yeah, that's great.
So, exactly. So, if you ever did come out to the Southern California area, we would be happy to come out there and support you in your show and to be able to watch you live. That'd be great fun. So in the go ahead.
For sure.
Yes. So in the meantime,
we'll definitely let you know.
Oh, we would love that. We'd absolutely love that. So in the meantime, for anybody who wants to learn more about El Solomon, where can they find that? Any kind of social media presence? I mean, you already talked about your presence on Sirius XM, but where can they find out more about you individually / collectively? Websites, social media, Facebooks, Instagrams, Twitters, places like that?
So I'd say definitely follow our cartoon at the El Solomons, TheelSalomons. We come up with a cartoon every Tuesday. And that's on Instagram. It's probably the best medium, but we also post to Twitter and Facebook. And then we have a website mostly up, but it's called, you can go there and see all the cartoons there as well. It's theelsolomons.com. And then all of our information as individual stand-ups is also, in the bios. I'm Jess Solomon, Salomon. And I'm Jess_Solomon on social media, and I have a website, jesssolomon.com.
And I'm Iman Husseini. You'll find me online. My website is imantertainment.com, and my Twitter and Instagram handle is @imanifik. Yeah,
Oh,
I think
cool.
that's all of our stuff. Yeah.
Wow,
Nice.
That's cool. So you've got all of this stuff going on. Was there another project going on besides the cartoon and your duo? I thought there was something
And the
else.
HBO thing that is yet to happen.
Oh, yeah, on your HBO special.
The HBO special that is yet to happen.
I mean, but we are working on a pilot for our eventual animated series, hopefully.
Yeah,
animated sitcom.
Yeah, and I mean, my big thing was recording this album, so that'll be out on 800 Pound Gorilla in early 2019. It's going to be called All the Best Choices. You guys are the exclusive first people I'm telling the title to.
Woohoo!
And that's, I think that's it, really. Yeah. We're always touring individually as stand-ups, so you can always check out our dates on our websites, and the stuff that we do together will be on our Al Solomon's, social media and website.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, thank you for being on the show with us this time.
Yeah, it was a lot
This
of
is
fun
a
being
lot
able
of
to talk
fun.
to you.
Thanks for having us.
So much
You guys
fun
are
at
awesome.
Disney
Yeah.
World.
Hey everybody, I'm Jason Carney of the Phoenix Film Festival. You're listening to all the cool geek stuff in the world on the Two Gay Geeks podcast.
And here's a few selected birthdays for December 3rd through December 9th, 2018. On December 3rd, Mr. Christmas
himself.
Andy Williams. Happy birthday, Andy Williams. And it's too bad that he died, I mean, it was just a very short period of time when he had that cancer diagnosis.
I know it's
was like
really
6 weeks
really
or something.
really really sad. But wow, holy moly, what a career! And I would have loved to have seen his show up in Branson.
Yeah, Lynn and John used to go there all the time. They said it was
I bet it was
a great
amazing.
show. So, and also on December 3rd, Corey Nelson. Happy birthday,
Corey.
It's your oldest friend.
The friend that I've known the longest.
Yeah, and also on December 3rd, Edward Pulley. Happy birthday, Edward. December 4th, Jeff Bridges and Marissa Tomei. December 5th, Walter Elias Disney.
How nice that we will be at Disney World at that time.
Well, remember we were there a number of years ago. Yeah.
Well, first time we went to Disney World. Well, it's actually twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
We always seem to go around Walt's birthday.
Yeah.
So. And on December 5th, Jose Carreras, Frankie Muniz, and I put him on here because he's going through a really devastating thing. I mean, the memory loss that he is, it's almost an
I heard
Alzheimer's
about that.
like thing. He has to be reminded of working on that any of the TV shows that
I
he
know.
did.
That is so
Everything.
sad.
It's really sad. Yeah. Also on December 5th, Fritz Lang, who was a German filmmaker. He was known for Metropolis in 1928.
Right.
And among other things. So December 6th, Ryan White, who was, the poster boy
I hate to say that, but it's true.
I know, it's true.
It sounds awful.
But he was the one that actually put a face on
AIDS
and actually turned people around in the funding process.
Yeah,
And
at that point,
to,
a lot of, I'm not going to say mystique, but a lot of, bad prejudice and stereotypes were completely washed away with him.
Yeah. Also on December 6th, what day? Andy Luke, Facebook friend of ours. December 7th, Pietro Mascagni, who wrote Cavalleria
Rusticana.
Yeah, it's an unusual,
very unusual opera.
Yeah, it's a one-act opera. It has some
interesting,
glorious music in it, but it's just the the story is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Julie Regal, a friend from high school who's a teacher in Oklahoma. Happy birthday, Julie. And Darren Daz Anderson.
One of my dearest friends who lives in the UK. Happy birthday, Darren.
Happy birthday, Darren. December 8th, Jim Morrison of The Doors. David Carradine, Diego Rivera, who was...
I know that name.
Oh, shoot. My brain just shut down. I'm
He
so
wasn't
tired.
Poe
today.
Dameron, was he?
No. He, Diego Rivera was...
I'm
He
confusing
was a
somebody.
painter.
Oh,
He was,
I'm embarrassed now.
in... oh, my God. Coco.
Oh,
What was her name?
Frida?
Frida Kahlo. My God, how could I forget that? Jesus. My brain. We had a very long...
We had a very, very long night.
Very short night for sleeping, but
Yeah,
very long
So,
night.
yeah, we've been awake
just-
for over 12 hours now, so we're pretty
Yeah.
wiped out.
After an hour of sleep.
Yeah.
Also on December 8th, Flip Wilson.
The devil
He
made
was-
me do it.
Yeah, well, he was also probably the first crossdresser on network
Yes, as
television
Geraldine.
in prime time.
Yeah. Black.
Yes.
I mean,
at that.
he really broke down a lot of barriers.
Yeah.
With that show of his.
Yeah. Also, Rick Baker,
Makeup
famed makeup
Oscar
genius.
winner.
Yeah, absolutely. December 9th, Kirk Douglas, who I think is still going.
He's
isn't he?
still
102.
alive.
102. Can you believe?
Yeah,
Oh, my
amazing.
God. Judy Dench, who's not 102.
No, she's not.
And Donny Osmond. He's 50. He's 60.
Oh,
I
he's
think,
in his
this year,
60s now.
or
He's
61.
like 3 or 4 years older than me.
Yeah. So, and I remember him, in the 60s and 70s.
So
And
do I.
What little gay boy didn't have a crush on Donny
God.
Osmond?
But actually, I had a crush on Wayne, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. Also, December 9th, Elizabeth Schwarzkopf. She was a famed opera soprano, and she was most notably for the
Marschallin, I believe.
The Marschallin.
Yeah, from De Rosen Cavalier.
Yep. Andy Athey, a
Friend from
of-
Facebook.
And Anthony DeGioia, who is a film critic in his own right in San
yeah.
Diego. Yep. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Technorama, the podcast for geeks, because geeks are better than cool. You don't hear someone say, "Get away from me, you cool person." Who's gonna have their 65-inch home theater system installed by the Cool Squad? Not me, that's for sure. How much cool cred do you have? Not enough to care about. Think you'll find any canned unicorn meat at thinkcool.com? It's just a part domain name. They don't even have roadkill in a paper cup. That's why you need to start listening to Technorama, because that's what geeks do. Go to chuckchat.com and listen to Technorama before you turn cool.
Go give a listen to our friends Chuck and Craig over at Technorama. And now we've got a little bit of feedback for you.
Yeah, Keith having fun with the soundboard again. So, starting off with episode 191, and this is where we got to interview Peter Codron, author from Australia.
Oh my God, what a wonderful story that was.
Oh
my God.
You
and the
you
little
finally
novella.
read? Yeah, you finally got a chance
Oh
to
my
read
gosh.
Starship Mine. Isn't that
Wow.
Isn't that such
Oh
a
my
great
God.
story?
It just left me in tears.
It is beautiful. I wanted more. I was heartbroken that the story
Yep.
ended. It's just a novella, but wow, what a great book!
Check it out.
Oh, by all means,
Yeah.
it is so beautiful. Anyway, and we're talking. It's a science fiction.
Yeah.
So, anyway, got a comment from Peter, and he says, "Thank you for having me on the show. I loved chatting with you guys." Well, Peter, we loved having you on the show, too. And I got a comment from Arkle, and he left this on our YouTube channel. And I guess during the episode, we talked a little bit about the new Doctor Who premiere. And he said, "I liked the Doctor Who season premiere, but I imagine I'd have liked it more had I not had to struggle with a fracking DVR in order to be able to watch the whole thing.
Oh dear.
It was the quote-unquote perfect cap to an all-around frustrating week. At least the episode was good. It was good. It's not their fault. I was unable to get into the right mindset for it. I was able to enjoy the second episode properly at least, though I'm unsure how I feel about the new TARDIS interior at the moment. I'll need to see it a few more times to be sure. Then got a comment from Darren Anderson, who we just gave a birthday greeting to, and Darren is a huge Doctor Who fanatic, and that's how Darren and I became friends. And he says, I agree, Ben, first adventure feels like classic Who.
Yeah.
And then got some shout-outs from, first from Brian Dillon, and he says, well, thanks for the shout-out. And then got, lastly, a comment from Sue Harch Parker, who she says, thanks for the birthday shout-out. Then, moving on to episode 192, and this is where we got to interview author Zachary Wheeler.
Oh, my Lord.
Of the Max and the Multiverse stuff.
He is another author that is just turning
Great
out some
stuff.
incredible stuff. I mean, his Max and the Multiverse series
Is what?
It's crazy. I said, he's picked up the torch where
Douglas Adams left it off. I know,
Absolutely.
and it really is. Yeah, you have to read these books to believe them. Anyway, he says, another chat with one of my favorite podcasts. Always a pleasure to chat with you guys. Well, thank you, Zachary. We greatly appreciate that. And then I wrote a review for The Haunting of Hill House that was on Netflix. And we got a comment from filmmaker Mark Ross. And he said, well stated. I just finished the show myself. Very well done show.
Oh my gosh,
I loved that show.
It was so incredibly well produced. I'm
almost tempted to watch it again.
Yeah, seriously, just to pick up the little nuance.
There's Easter eggs from the very beginning. I'm tempted to watch it again because it's beautiful to look at too.
Yeah,
cinematography is breathtaking. And then got a comment on Instagram from Barbara Sehested. I knew this lovely lady back in a former life when I used to be a missionary in the state of Virginia. And she writes, I'll watch it today. Love ya. Mwah. Yes, and Mrs. I can never call her Barbara Sehested because she was never, no. Thank you, and we love you too. And that is our feedback. Well, as a missionary, I always called her Sister Sehested, and that's how I always know her. So anyway, that's our feedback for this week.
And you can leave comments on anything that we do, whether it's an article that we publish, whether it's a webcast episode, and you can do that on our Facebook page, at our website at tggeeks.com. Right at the bottom of each article and each episode, you can comment on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, on MySpace. Wherever you find us, you
were
comment.
Gonna say MySpace.
Yeah. And we'll give you a shout out on a future episode if you leave a comment. We also have a listener feedback line, so if you want to call us and leave us a voicemail message, you can do that, and we'll play that on air as well.
The feedback line is lonely.
It is.
It needs your calls.
Yeah, call 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
Wow.
It's done.
That was abrupt.
Since you raked me over the coals for playing with the soundboard last time.
Oh, but it was fun to watch.
Anyway, this is our second segment. We don't have necessarily anything to really talk about in this.
I mean, we're already into the vacation now.
Yeah, and we're pre-recording this, so we're weeks ahead of.
And if you are a regular visitor to the website, and I really hope you are,
please do visit our website.
Then you'll have already seen that we've got content that is publishing, even though we've been on vacation at the time of this listening for well over a week.
Yep. And just so you know, this was, we did plan it, and we planned it out correctly, and then, we had some little speed bumps, but we were trying to produce 47 days worth of content.
Yeah.
Get it all created, scheduled in the right order, record the episodes ahead of time, and get all the interviews ahead of time, and Holy
because we love you.
Yeah, we want to be sure that there was regularity and continuity in our episodes and our publishing on the website. So thank you for listening, and thank you for being with us. Check out the website. We got some great content. And during this holiday period, all of the not all, but most of the articles are going to be about holiday watchings, and some of them are bizarre and way offbeat, and some of them are the classic holiday season
Fair.
So check them out. And of course, everybody's contributing. All of our contributors, as well as us, are publishing those articles, and we have a unique way of looking at them. There's a little snark in some of them, but
In some cases, a lot.
in some cases a lot.
Yeah, because it's well deserved.
Keep checking the website, and we're going to have some interesting changes to things in the new year. Hopefully around the website, we'll get that all figured out. We're trying to play with a WordPress theme right now that's not playing nice, because I don't know how it works, but we'll get there.
Be that as it may.
Be that as it may. Keep checking back with us.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counsellors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
We do play that at every episode because there are a lot of people that are in crisis and they just don't know what to do.
Especially in the holiday season.
Absolutely. And if you are in crisis or know somebody that is, please reach out for help, whether it's the Trevor Project or the Suicide Prevention Hotline. Please, and encourage people, check in with people that you haven't heard from in a long time, whether they're in crisis or not. It's just about being a good human being.
Right.
Check in with people. Take care of your brother. You're not your brother's keeper, but your brother's brother. Somebody, I read an article and a guy says, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And he said, "No, but you're your brother's brother." So.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
That was good. Better.
Much.
We don't know, except that we had an episode last week. That's our weekly recap.
That's about it. Yeah.
Because
we had episode 198 on the last Monday of November.
Yeah. 197.
197. See?
This is 198.
This is 198. Yeah, episode 197.
Who knows where we are? I don't know.
on whatever the last day of, November 26th.
Yeah. So we don't know what was scheduled because we're still in the scheduling process at this recording. So
there'll be a new sushi, and there'll probably be Dr. Zombie, and that's all we know.
Yep. So, and you can find all these things at tggeeks.com, as well as those entries that refer to the Facebook or the articles in our Facebook page. So please visit and comment on those things. And as always, we've got some follow-up items. Check out the widgets on the side of the page for all of those books that we have listed there, and causes and people that we know and like and want to support. Just check them out and buy their stuff. Mm-hmm. Same thing with any of the independent creators that we support, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers. Buy their stuff. If you see them at a convention or at a book fair, use cash because they don't need that credit card.
They don't need those
fees. And support independent creators by talking to people about their stuff. If you like their stuff, commenting on their website, etc. And, it's just part of being a fan. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to let other people know. We're supporters of Arizona Opera and hope that you will be too. So check out azopera.org. The rest of the season is quite exciting. So go over there and buy some tickets or do something, buy individual tickets. Support them. etc.
And if you're in another area that, outside of Arizona, but you know there's a regional opera company there, guess what? You might want to check it out. Opera is far more accessible than you may think. If you like good theater, check out the opera.
Good theater with good music. And check out our restaurant reviews, a new category we have. We've got lots of restaurant reviews now and continue to add to them.
Special shout out to Doctor Who Talking Who on Twitter, Michael C. Burgess on Twitter, Human Arkle on Twitter. Why? They all publish paper.lees that republish much of our weekly content. You can find Doctor Who Talking Who's on Twitter by searching at Talking Who. Their paperly is the Doctor Who Fancast Guide. You can find Michael C. Burgess's on Twitter by searching at Byronic, Byronik, and his is the Byronic's Semi-Diurnal Aggregator. And then lastly, you heard from Arkle, Mr. Brian Weber. You can find it by searching Twitter at Arkle, Arkle, and his is the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News. And speaking of Arkle, he has the shameless cash grab on YouTube.
The shameless cash grab.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's my drunk Humphrey Bogart. You can find him by looking up Arkle Studios, sweetheart. Arkle Studios, all one word on YouTube. Look for it there. And then, special shout out to the Facebook group, The Gay Geek, for allowing us to post not just our episodes, but also all relevant articles there. And we must give special thanks to Jeremiah Reeves. He is their moderator. He gave us permission to share that content there. You can find him by going to facebook.com/group/thegaygeek. It is a closed group, so you'll have to request access, but hey, all are welcome.
And it is a great group, too. There's a lot of great people and supportive of each other and lots of great content. And
fantastic content.
Yeah, so check it out. Thanks, Jeremiah. And thank you to everybody that has clicked on our Amazon ads. You can find those at the bottom of the page and at the bottom of each article and on the right-hand side of the pages. Shows Amazon. We're not ready for the next time. It shows Amazon that we get a little traffic, and if you do decide to buy something, use one of our search ads. It gets a little kickback, a few cents here and a few cents there. And lastly, we can be found on Spotify, on Blueberry, on Stitcher, on Spreaker, on...
We're discovering places that we didn't know we were.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I discovered two things this last week. Two places that had picked up our RSS feed and had our episodes there. It's like, I never even knew they were there.
And it's not like we submitted it.
Exactly.
They found it on their own, or somebody found it there and shared it there. It's like, hey, we're happy to see others cast, a wider net for ours.
Yeah, and you can catch a replay on Krypton Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays. So please rate us and review us on iTunes, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Up next time, this is, wow. It was a great interview. Cheshire Moon.
Oh, this was fantastic.
Some Filk artists. They were the guest artists, or the guest of honor at CocoCon.
Right.
And it's a duo. They do Filk music, which is a kind of a...
Well, everybody has their own idea, their own preconception of what Filk is. I suggest that you listen to this episode very carefully. They will define what Filk is. I would say that I had my eyes really, really opened during the course of that interview, and it was such a fantastic conversation.
Yeah, and that one's a twofer. So in the first episode, or the first segment, we have an interview, and in the second segment, we continued
on.
And we did that one in our hotel suite.
Yeah, it was a face-to-face chat.
So it's a little easier to do those longer ones, so check it out. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode at tggeeks.com. We're going to have several links on the page for things that we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page. You can comment on our website at tggeeks.com, any place else. Or you can call us and leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844 3357. From TG Squared Studios, I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to yourself and those around you.
Cheers.